Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Google Sheets to organize yourselves. And this is what I'm using, and it shows you use checklists, and it shows you what's urgent, what do you need to work on next, just like you see in that screen in front of you. To give you a sense, this is my weekly content release schedule. What I have is the different weeks of the year, the week starting on what day. This is the Sunday of every week. The title of the episode, everything to me is working by episodes. This is the title or the general title of the episode. And this is a checklist of what I need to do. What you see in red are things that I'm late on. So this is actually something that should have been done by January 4th. It's actually done, so some of them are already done, and every time I'm going to write done, you can see that it becomes gray. By the way, in terms of the episodes, you will see this is the next episode to work on. This is what I must work on now. This is current week, and this is next week, and this is everything after that. So without further ado, what I'm going to show you is how I do that, and the way I'm going to do it is actually simply by starting a new worksheet. So this is going to be a worksheet, and this can be by week or this can be by activities. So let's say that I have speaking engagements. So we're going to call it the event, and then I'm going to say event 1, event 2, event 3. Just for an example, you're probably going to write the names of the events themselves. This is really important. I'm going to write the date, and the date for event 1 is actually, we're going to say it's this week. So I'm going to give it the 14th. The next event is something that doesn't happen until the following week. And then I have an event that happens in February. Then I have one that happens in May. So we'll stick with just that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few columns to the left, actually 2 columns. And this is going to be my checklist. And so my checklist is lock the date, for example. The next is going to be send invoice. The next one is going to be invoice paid. I'm going to do a promo video for them. I'm going to finalize PowerPoint. I'm going to, let's say, finalize travel. And I'm going to do delivering. Okay? Now I'm going to have in this column, and this is an important column, I will have something. Actually, I have one too many. No, that's okay. I'll just keep it that way. I'm going to say T minus. So how many days before the event do I need to lock the date? I'm going to say that 90 days before the event, I need to lock it down. Now, the next is when do I send the invoice? Well, I typically send the invoice 75 days in advance. The invoice has to be paid 60 days in advance, or I release the date. Doesn't matter. You have your own checklist. The promo video is something that I would do 30 days ahead of the event. I need to finalize the PowerPoint 14 days. I need to, let's say 7 days before the event. I need to finalize travel 14 days instead of ahead of the event. And I need to deliver, well, on the event date. So now we have the dates here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of the dates. And in format, I'm going to go to conditional formatting. And there's a default, but what I'm going to say is format cells if date is before. Okay, so date is before, and it can say today, but I'm going to do exact date. And this is important that you write equal today, open close parentheses. This is the function for today. And I'm going to say plus 1. So if the date is before today plus 1, which is tomorrow, before tomorrow, which means really today, then I want this to be red. And I want the letters to be white. And I want it to be bold. Now I'm going to add another rule. And I like to add another rule instead of hitting done, because if I hit done and I create another rule, then it creates from scratch. When I do add another rule just like this, it starts from the same starting point that I had before. So it already says you're looking for a date before, exact date. And what I'll do is, if it's today plus 7, you notice that this already became red, but I want it to really be yellow. And the text, well, text would work much better in black, or yeah, and I'll keep it as bold. That's okay. And then I'll do another rule. And the next rule is actually going to be, if the date is before today, which, by the way, I could have just say date before, instead of exact date, just say today, then just make it gray. Okay? And be done. Now, here's what happens. If this event, instead of being on the 14th, it would have been on the 10th, let's say 11 still looks the same. If this date would have been the 10, which means today, it's in red. If it would be the 9th, ooh, that's interesting. Oh, that's because in terms of order, I had this ordered, and this is an important point. I had before plus 1 ordered before today, which means that this is the first rule that catches. And that's an important thing to know. If it catches one of the rules, it's not going to look for the others. So I'm just going to change the order, and you see that this is what happens. By the way, and it change the order for all of them in the same way. So now you will see, actually, you know what? I don't need it to be bold for things that already happened in the past. So we have one event that's in the past, another event that's today, another event that's within the next week, another event, I'm going further, 2-8, and then 3-1. Okay, so we have event 5. Okay, so this is what happens. This event is in the past. This event is today. This event is within the next week, so less than today plus 8. And anything else is just more than a week from today. Now, here's the cool thing. What is the date by which I needed to lock the date? So I needed to lock the date by the date of the event minus 90. So it shows you that I should have locked it on October 11th of actually last year. Now, be careful. If I'm going to just do Control-C to copy this and then move it all around, that's going to cause problems, because the dates are only in this first line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a $sign before the date here, so it will always look at this same line number 2. The dollar means don't change line. And I'm going to put a $sign before the B here, which means that it would always look for this column. So I locked the line and I locked the column. And now I can copy this to all of my cells. But I still don't know if this is urgent or not urgent, right? So we're going to decide that anything that happens, by the way, here's another thing that I can do, since I like this to be in order of getting close to the event. I highlight a line, and then I just grab this line and move it here. So it just moved, everything moved in place. So this time, I don't just want to see if today is the day. I want to see if something is within a week of the event, then I want it to be red. So let's do it again. I'm going to highlight. See, I don't have any conditional formatting, so I'm going to add one. Again, this is the default, but we're going to say date is before. Instead of today, we're going to say exact date. We're going to start today plus. So if it's before today plus 8, which means that this is going to be within the next 7 days, I want this to be red this time. And once again, white goes on red much better, and we're going to make it bold. Add another rule. If it is today, yeah, this is these are all, even for this March event, if I'm 90 days in advance, this should have been done already. And now I'm going to do, the second one is going to be, if it's within the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to do 15, then make it yellow and make it black. And I'm still going to keep it as bold. Add one rule. If it's more than, let's this time say if it's within the next 31 days, then make it lighter yellow. Okay? And, black is okay, but we probably don't want it to be bold anymore. And I'm going to add one more rule. And the rule is going to be if the text starts with the word done, then make it gray. Okay? So here's what I have. All of these activities should have been done. Well, actually, they are done. Look at what happens when I write the word done. Done. Doesn't matter if it's capitalized or not, all of them would still work. So everything that's done, this event here is done. In fact, everything in this event is done, so I'm just going to Control-C, Control-V, all of them. For this event that happens today, obviously Control-C, everything has happened. The PowerPoint is finalized. Everything has happened. This is just red because it tells me that this event is today. By the way, I can even insert one row above and kind of separate them. So for this event, send the invoice should have been done 75 days ago. Done. I don't see anything that's yellow that needs to happen within the next 2 weeks. I guess because I have an event, let's say that we pull this event in to the 20th, and you can see all of a sudden a lot of things became red, and this one became yellow. And for this event, maybe if the promo video has to happen 45 days in advance, then it should already be red. If it needed to happen 50 days in advance, it's still red. No, I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong direction. 35 days in advance. So you can play with it and decide. This is the T minus. One last thing that I'm going to show you here is I like to double click on the separator between them so that we will get the exact size. One thing that I will do is I want to make sure that when I scroll, if I start scrolling, if I have more and more event, look at what happens. I lose the first column. So what I'm going to do here is, this is going to be kind of my pivotal point, and what I'm going to say is, under View, I will do Freeze up to row 3. This is the third row, and View Freeze up to column C. And so now what will happen, if the list is too long, I keep scrolling, I don't lose the first 3 lines. And if I have a lot of events, I can't say too many events because we like to have events, then as I scroll, I still have the first 3 columns. Or if I just want to have the first column, then I can just do View Freeze, for example. I did row instead of column. View Freeze. We're going to keep 2 rows because really the third one is just a separator. And View Freeze 1 column. And now these 2 columns will disappear. Just the first one is going to stay. So this is how I keep myself organized. And the important part is, because I have so many events, because I have so much content that I need to deliver, that it's very easy to get lost with what's important and what's urgent. And I can't show you what's important here. I didn't do anything to show what's important, but I can show you what's urgent. And the way we decided, or I decided to do that, is everything that happens before today plus 8, which means within the next 7 days, including today, is going to be a red. Everything that happens within 2 weeks is yellow. Within a month is light yellow. And if I'm done, I'm just making it gray. This is how I keep myself organized. I hope this was helpful.